Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles 2014 is not great. And by popular demand, I'm going to tell you how I would rewrite it. Watch the 90s film instead. But for real, this is Ninja Turtles 2014, another take. We open with foot ninjas attempting to steal a thing from a crate. One of them spray paints their foot and sticks it to the side of the crate. It was Bebop who did it. Cry yells at him for doing it, but Bebop tries defending by saying, well, this is how the town will know the Foot Clan did it and strike fear into them. With Cry saying this is not one of those kind of missions, we're here to steal the thing inside the crate and leave. But then they get attacked by mysterious shadowy figures. Some of the foot ninjas are tied up as the shadowy figures escape as the cops arrive, and Karai only escapes with one of the things from the crate. Title. Later at Channel 6, Byrne is looking for someone to report on all this, and she decides to send the new girl, April O'Neil. She heads out and reports about what happened, and then she shows the footprint from earlier, saying that the Foot Clan is clearly behind all this, and possibly other high-profile crime around town recently. But then Byrne is visibly concerned that they showed the footprint for some reason. They wrap up and the cameraman, Vern, jokes, alright, let's get out here quick. This is already a bad neighborhood. The last thing we need is ninjas attacking us. And just as he says that, we cut to the Foot's headquarters, which is an abandoned mall. And we see a bunch of new recruits doing things we can get away with in a PG-13 movie in 2014. One of them is Casey Jones, who's training but gets put down by one of the main guys of the Foot Clan, Hun, who basically says, strike hard, strike fast, no mercy. But then suddenly the Shredder appears and everyone stands right up and shuts up. Like music was playing, but as soon as he arrives, everyone shuts it off. Cry arrives with the thing from earlier. Shredder takes it and gives it to his scientist, Baxter, who says, yep, this is the mutagen I was looking for. With this, Sensei Shredder, you're going to be able to build a whole army of mutants with the Foot Clan. It would have been better if we had more, but that's not my fault. Cry tries apologizing for their failure, saying they were attacked by other ninjas. But he actually accepts the fact that they have at least a singular vial of mutagen. Then we get somewhat of a similar speech to the 90s film, where him saying that everyone here is a reject by society and he's their father. He wants everyone to be full members, even Bebop and Rocksteady one day. He needs them to take out April O'Neil for reporting about their actions. Now later that night, April's on a train, heading home. It's packed full of people, and she starts noticing people are all staring at her, and like putting up their hoods, and put on a ninja mask. And it's the Foot Clan. Train's immediately stopped and everyone files out. Karai's leading this mission by like wearing at least a half mask to cover her like identity, but her hair sticking out so the audience still knows who she is. April's brought before her and she says the Shredder sends her remarks and brings out a knife. But then suddenly the lights go out and more mysterious figures appear to take on the Foot. And we get a fight in the shadows. Afterwards, the cops arrive. The Turtles escape, where April actually chases them up a building, takes a photo of them. They know it's the Flash, and we get our turtle reveal. These turtle designs almost work. I like that they all have individual like outfits on top of them. But it's definitely their faces that ruin it. It kind of looks like they tried too hard to actually make a turtle look like a human, and it just ends up looking like weird and Shrek-like. I would love if they made full costumes and stuff, but it's 2014. Of course, it would be motion capture. That's fine. I'd probably redesign them to look something like this, but maybe except for Raph, a little slimmer. But either way, the turtles are freaking out that April saw them. April's freaking out that they're giant turtles. So Raph just puts a pillow over their head and they accidentally kidnap her. At the turtles' lair, Splinter's mad that they brought April here and makes them go train doing dumb things. April's still freaking out, but Splinter tries calming her down and explains who they are. And then we get the more traditional Ninja Turtle backstory. Long ago, Splinter used to be a human named Hamato Yoshi. And along with his best friend Oroku Saki, they studied the ancient arts of martial arts and ninjutsu. And then like a hint to the turtles, Yoshi's wearing a blue headband and Saki's wearing a red headband. But then things got complicated when the two fell for Tang Shen. She ultimately chose Yoshi. Feeling betrayed, Saki executed her and tried the same with Yoshi, which led to a fight.
He might be your brother, but turn him into your sister.
There was a big fire, and Saki left Yoshi to burn. but he ended up escaping all the way to America.
I was leaving the pet store with 4 baby turtles, past a strange man on the street. Thing felt off about him. I decided to follow.
He fought them, but they dropped a mysterious ooze which got over him and his baby turtles, which caused them to mutate. Taking refuge in the sewer, he raised the turtles as his own children, named them after his favorite artist. They lived down there for 14 years. During this time, he taught them the arts of ninjutsu, not just from a book, but also because he used to be a martial artist. Splinter teaches the turtles ninjutsu because he wants them to actually use it to help people. They fight from the shadows because he knows that the above world will just freak out and reject them, much like how April did at first. April apologizes and tries to leave, but Donnie tries telling her that she needs to not tell anyone about them. But then suddenly, one of their many TVs turns on to Channel 6, and Vern has a report. April didn't come in today, so I have to take responsibility, lucky you viewers, but unlucky for these animals that vandals broke into the local zoo last night, injuring several animals including the rhino and warthog. Many more were set free. Mikey questions why would the Foot do something like that. Meanwhile, back at Foot Base, Bebop and Rocksteady return with hair samples from a warthog and skin samples from a rhino. Baxter explains to Shredder that the mutagen will turn anyone who comes in contact with it into whatever last animal they touched, instead of some random nonsense about ancient animal ancestry. Shredder personally volunteers Bebop and Rocksteady to be experimented on it, and they turn it into a rhinoceros and a warthog, hopefully with less flashes and them checking themselves out. Casey sees this and he's kind of horrified at all of it. The turtles stalk around the zoo late at night and they find Foot Clan symbols, and they get jumped by ninjas. But they actually have an easy time fighting them off. April and the turtles go their separate ways, with her saying that she'll only tell Byrne about the Foot Clan involvement in all of this and not the turtles. But then the turtles go back to base and they find it completely wrecked, covered in Foot Clan symbols, and Splinter's missing. Raph does not take it well. Bebop, Rocksteady, and the Foot Ninjas return to base. They tie Splinter to a fence, and Shredder gives them their red ninja headbands. Shredder mocks Yoshi, saying that he's finally become the rat he always has been. Then he just starts wailing on him. Casey watches, just kind of horrified. Meanwhile, April tries telling Byrne about everything weird going on in town and all the vandalism is because of the Foot Clan. Byrne is concerned and quickly fires her. At April's apartment, the turtles are there all sad about what's going on. It turns out Byrne's been paying protection money to the Foot, and they're upset that they're reporting about their actions, which Byrne apologizes for. It's all April's fault, and Karai asks for April's address. Meanwhile, with Casey, he basically just has the same scene with Daniel and Splinter from the 90s film. I take a lot of inspiration because that film's actually really good. Meanwhile, April's with the turtles, trying to cheer them up, and there's some product placement, and the turtles are being the turtles, and they're having fun. But then the next morning, they get surprise attacked by ninjas. The turtles easily deal with them, but then the cavalry arrives, and Bebop and Rocksteady actually give the turtles kind of a hard time, so they end up having to escape. Back to the sewers, they find Casey sleeping in their lair. Casey says he defected and he wants to join the turtles and help them out, but they don't listen to him and think he's a spy. But Casey says, why else would he be here? And then Donatello is like, fine. So they come up with a plan. They get into Casey's Foot Clan truck, they go to the base, and the only thing they really thought of is just going and grabbing Splinter and running away. Casey can easily get in his ninja outfit, and April can say she's a new recruit. Turtles can wait in the truck, and they do, until a bunch of Foot Clan guys get near. Mikey starts freaking out, and he just hops out and starts fighting them. Raph calls him dumb for it, but Mikey says it's alright. Just as even more ninjas show up and with guns, and then they find out their shells are bulletproof. And instead of just immediately turning around and getting hit, other than maybe like Mikey gets like his shoulder scraped by a bullet, they have to learn the ancient art of fighting backwards. The others manage to grab Splinter comically easy, just as the alarms hit and everyone's screaming, and they have to run into the van. And Casey says, let's go the fast way, and he drives off the road and goes downhill. But Leo accidentally falls out the back, and we get the snow scene from the original film. Plus, with Bebop and Rocksteady on motorcycles going downhill with them, it's just a kind of fun scene. The only one who's not skating on their shells is Mikey with his skateboard, and they accidentally cause a mini avalanche. Instead of this scene where Raph should have broken every bone in his body, they take on the big guys. Everyone's skiing around each other and trying to hit them, but eventually Mikey decides to sacrifice one of his nunchucks by sticking it into the wheel of Rocksteady's motorcycle, causing him to fall off. Bebop accidentally runs him over, falling off his bike, and they both get caught in the avalanche. The truck's coming up to the ledge, and he shoots out a cable from it. Mikey tries grabbing it, but he drops it. We get a silent moment with Mikey.
They ain't dead, numbnuts!
Yeah, it turns out the drop wasn't that bad. The Turtles dig everyone out of the snow in the Jeep. The Turtles hug Splinter, happy they got him out. But then the Shredder jumps on top of the van. And he says, "Tonight I'll dine on turtle soup." The Turtles don't really take him serious with all that get up, and they try fighting him and get their asses kicked, with Raph receiving a significant cut to his shell. But then Splinter hops on top of the van, saying to get away from his sons. Then Shredder takes off the front part of his mask, and you see like a cut from earlier in their fight in the flashback. And unlike the 90s film, we get a full-on epic battle between the two. Even brutally tortured and exhausted, Splinter manages to hold his own. He knocks his helmet off, and he asks Splinter to give him an honorable death. But then Splinter hears the police sirens arriving, and he just abandons Shredder to his fate as everyone escapes. Shredder is arrested. All the foot ninjas back at the base are concerned what's going to happen now. And Baxter is like, nope, not trying to get caught today. And he's like burning all the evidence that he was there. And complains, man, if I had a penny for all the flies in this room. The film ends with April getting her job back, reporting on the crime boss known as the Shredder being put behind bars. Thanks to the help of some local heroes. We see like the Turtles driving around in the foot van from earlier. They turn into their party wagon. Casey stopping some muggers wearing his classic hockey mask, and he gets picked up by the Turtles. They head back into the sewer because Splinter's made a 99 cheese pizza. Then credits play over Knock Knock You're About to Be Shell Shocked, the rap remix. Then we see Baxter working on a thing that turns out to be the mouse droids. But then Bebop, Rocksteady, and Hunt appear, saying that they still need his services. He tries refusing, but then the two just grab Baxter, and Hunt pulls out a little circular saw and says this is what they get for trying to abandon the foot. And that was my rewrite of Ninja Turtles 2014 by Michael Bay. I hope you guys enjoyed it, or at least thought it was interesting. Stay tuned for Out of the Shadows.